Hey, this is Scott at Fire Breathing Christian, and man, over the last couple days, we've seen a real beaut here with Frank Oz, the creator of many beloved characters, including Bert of Bert and Ernie fame, and Yoda, of course, Grover, some of my favorites when I was growing up. Well, Frank Oz committed the unpardonable sin of clarifying that Bert and Ernie are not gay. Yeah, I mean, wow, that is gutsy. And now realize, and we'll see here as we look at the brief Twitter exchange that sort of centers on this subject here, we'll see that, Frank Oz is not coming from some radical right-wing anti-homosexuality position, not at all. But anyway, I'll read through this Twitter feed and we'll make a few pertinent comments here. And we want to notice the personality and the character of the people who are pushing a narrative and the way they approach any deviation to their narrative. We'll get into that. Let's just go through a little bit of this Twitter feed. Frank Oz begins by saying, "It seems that Mr. Mark Saltzman was asked if Bert and Ernie are gay. It's fine that he feels they are. They're not, of course. But why that question? Does it really matter? Why the need to define people as only gay? There's so much more to a human being than just straightness or gayness." Okay, so you get a pretty good sense there in Twitter size input of where Mr. Oz is coming from here. And but the problem line, of course, and the unpardonable, unforgivable, unacceptable line is that when he says they're not. You see, you can't say they're not. So, and he starts to get pushed back immediately after saying that. And one of them is recorded here. "Why are they not? I'm not arguing, just wondering. He said he wrote that from a point of view." And then Frank responded with the clarification. "I created Bert. I know what and who he is." That seems pretty straightforward and legit. That does. But of course, no matter how clear and sensible that may seem, that kind of pure logic doesn't work for SJW cultists. Not at all. And so he starts to get pushed back with people describing him as anti-gay inherently by taking this position. And so one of the people here who's complaining the most vocally is, if you aren't disgusted by homosexuality or by the gays or whatever it is, why do you care so much about this? Come on, Frank, say it. I hate gays. It's right there, man. Come on, say it. You know you want to. And this is the thing they try to... Everything they do along these lines centers on getting you, or having opposition to their narrative viewed as inherently hate-driven, hate-motivated. If you question the feminist line, you hate women. If you question progressive lines when it comes to race or ethnicity, you're a racist. You hate other racists. That's it. And it's funny here in a way, in a dark comedic gallows humor sort of sense, to see this person come out and hatefully push for exactly this thing to be expressed or acknowledged by Frank himself, saying, come on, Frank, say it. You hate gays. You hate them. Because to them, to be critical of homosexuality or to deny that Bert and Ernie are gay, authoritatively, to say no plainly, they're not gay. To them, that can only mean you hate gays. That's why people like me making videos like this are always at risk of threat from SJW zealots who want to tag my thoughts on this subject as inherently hateful. They don't want to deal with the content of what I'm saying or the fact that my particular view is the historic Orthodox Christian view, thousands of years old, very clear, biblically sound and explicit, that homosexuality is sin, wrong, destructive, and that I love people, even and especially homosexuals, because enough to share hard truths like that with them and others, so that by God's grace they might see the light on this and repent. And that's the beautiful thing I hope for, and other Christians hope for. But no matter how much you explain that historical reality, the biblical context, the nature of true love, they must tag you as hateful and therefore label everything you say as hate speech, so that then they can be justified in hatefully silencing you, shutting you up, getting you out of culture, out of society as much as possible. And that's what's going on here. And we see it vividly here. It's like, you have to be viewed. If you don't play along with the pro-homosexuality narrative, you must be viewed as hateful. To just question it, to push back on that, to say, no, I don't agree. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe the biblical Orthodox Christian position that's thousands of years old, not that that's what Frank Oz is arguing here, but just in general, if a Christian argues those things calmly, coolly, logically, they are called hateful. And we're all going to be called hateful for opposing this narrative. And that's the norm. This is their one-trick pony. This is just what they do. They claim victimhood status, and then they use it to beat you to death. And they do it hatefully again and again. They want to silence you hatefully. They want to take away your economic viability hatefully. They want people to view you as an evil, wicked creature who believes things and has a black little heart when you in fact don't believe the things necessarily that they're saying, and you actually love people enough to share hard truths. No. Everything must be twisted so that you are viewed as a hate monger. And let's face it, let's just be straight up here. When that's how you treat other people, when that's how you treat dissent from your worldview, you are hateful. And my noticing that and saying it clearly doesn't mean I even hate you if you're doing that sort of thing. I'm just pointing out the truths here. And that's not a hateful thing to do. We need to be able to have conversations about things and disagree, and take those disagreements on into deeper examination of the issues in question so that we can talk about hard things in detail and go deeper and deeper and deeper without, at the get-go, right out of the gate, having the whole conversation shut down by somebody just labeling it hateful because it hurt their feelings. While obviously they don't care whose feelings they hurt when they do that. This person here, these people like Nem, whoever this is, they don't care at all about Frank Oz's feelings, and they don't care about my feelings. And if you share the perspective that I have on these sorts of things, they don't care about your feelings at all. The whole universe is supposed to spin around their feelings, and if we don't go along, if we don't play that game, we're hateful. That cannot be allowed to stand. It really can't. And I think we know that. We're seeing it now. And this is another sign, I think, ultimately, the more people see this kind of behavior and the more normative it becomes just publicly for social justice warrior lunatics to treat people this way, the more we're going to win. The good guys are going to win. This kind of light coming onto this subject and this approach to discourse and social media that's being pursued and in many instances enforced by social justice warrior types, the more they do this, the more they push back, the more people will be waking up to the craziness that's going on, and the more they will begin to push back on it, whether they're called hateful or not. And that's a very good thing. If you appreciated this video and you want to support what we're doing, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified every time we post a new video, which we're hoping to do regularly on a daily basis from here on out on this subject and related subjects. Thank you very much for your support. Without it, we can't continue to do this.